Have you ever wondered what happened to the 12 apostles after the Gospels? Their story didn't end with the resurrection. In fact, for most of them, a new, incredibly challenging chapter was just beginning. They were tasked with spreading a new faith across the known world, and this mission would lead them to face incredible hardships and, ultimately, a series of truly terrible ends. Today, we're going on a journey, tracing the final footsteps of these foundational figures on a map. From the heart of the Roman Empire to the distant lands of India, we'll uncover the stories, traditions, and historical clues about their fates. This isn't just a history lesson. It's a story of unshakable conviction in the face of the ultimate sacrifice. So, grab your virtual passport and let's begin. Let's start with the apostle we know the most about, Peter, the rock upon whom the church was to be built. After his influential ministry in Jerusalem and Antioch, tradition places Peter in Rome, the very heart of the empire that would become the faith's greatest persecutor. Here, during the reign of Emperor Nero around 64 AD, a great fire devastated the city. Looking for a scapegoat, Nero blamed the Christians, initiating a brutal wave of persecution. According to early Christian writers like Clement of Rome and Tertullian, Peter was arrested. He famously requested to be crucified upside down, feeling unworthy to die in the same manner as his Lord. This act of ultimate humility and defiance took place on Vatican Hill, the very site where St. Peter's Basilica stands today, a monumental testament to his final sacrifice. Now, let's journey east on our map to Greece. Here we find Peter's brother, Andrew. Known as the first called apostle, Andrew was a tireless missionary. His travels are said to have taken him through Scythia, along the Black Sea, and eventually to Patras in Greece. In Patras, his powerful preaching converted many, including the wife of the Roman proconsul, Aegiates. Enraged, Aegiates condemned Andrew to death. But Andrew's end was unique. He was bound, not nailed, to an X-shaped cross, a form now known as a St. Andrew's cross. The intention was to prolong his suffering. For 2 days, he hung on that cross, continuing to preach to the crowds who gathered, his voice unwavering until his very last breath. His steadfast faith in the face of prolonged agony became a powerful symbol for believers for centuries to come. Next, we travel back to Jerusalem, the very starting point of their mission, to find James, the son of Zebedee and brother of John. Unlike the others, whose fates are known mostly through tradition, James's death is one of the few recorded directly in the Bible, in the Acts of the Apostles. He was a prominent leader in the early Jerusalem church, one of Jesus's inner circle. His influence, however, made him a target. Around 44 AD, King Herod Agrippa, seeking to curry favor with religious leaders who opposed the new Christian movement, ordered James's arrest. Acts 12 verse 2 states simply and starkly that Herod had him put to death with the sword. This likely means he was beheaded, making him the first of the 12 apostles to be martyred for his faith. His end was swift and brutal, a clear message from the authorities that this new faith would not be tolerated. From James, we turn to his brother, John, often called the beloved disciple. John's path was remarkably different from the others. While he faced immense persecution, he is the only one of the original 12 traditionally believed to have died of old age. After James's execution, John became a central figure in the church at Ephesus in modern-day Turkey. During the persecutions under Emperor Domitian, around 95 AD, he was exiled to the desolate island of Patmos. It was here, in a cave, that he received the apocalyptic visions that would become the book of Revelation. After Domitian's death, John was released and returned to Ephesus, where he continued to teach and write, passing away peacefully at an advanced age, a testament to endurance and a life lived fully in service to his message. Now, let's venture far to the east, possibly as far as India. This is where tradition places the Apostle Thomas, forever known as Doubting Thomas. But his story is one of profound faith, not doubt. After his famous encounter with the resurrected Christ, Thomas is said to have embarked on an epic missionary journey. Ancient traditions, particularly strong in the Syriac Christian communities of Kerala, India, state that he sailed to the Malabar coast around 52 AD. There, he established 7.5 churches and converted many. His success, however, angered local leaders. Tradition holds that he was martyred near modern-day Chennai, pierced by a spear. The St. Thomas Christians of India trace their spiritual lineage directly back to him, a vibrant, 2,000-year-old testament to his journey from doubt to unshakable belief. Returning to the Roman Empire, let's look at Philip. Like Andrew and Peter, he was from Bethsaida. After Pentecost, Philip's missionary work took him to Asia Minor, specifically to the city of Hierapolis in Phrygia, a center for pagan worship. Sources like the apocryphal Acts of Philip describe his ministry there, where he confronted a serpent cult. His preaching was so effective that it enraged the local authorities and priests. As a result, Philip, along with the apostle Bartholomew who was traveling with him, was arrested and sentenced to death. Tradition says Philip was crucified, possibly upside down like Peter, a martyr's death in a foreign land far from his Galilean home. And what of Bartholomew, who was with Philip in Hierapolis? Often identified with Nathanael from the Gospel of John, Bartholomew's journey is one of the most geographically diverse and, frankly, one of the most gruesome. After surviving the ordeal in Hierapolis, tradition says he traveled even further to Mesopotamia, Persia, and ultimately to Armenia. In Armenia, he found great success, converting the king himself. This enraged the king's brother, who ordered Bartholomew's capture and execution. The traditional account of his martyrdom is exceptionally brutal. He was flayed alive with knives and then beheaded. Because of this, he became the patron saint of tanners and butchers, and Armenia became the first nation to officially adopt Christianity as its state religion, a legacy born from his horrific sacrifice. Now, let's consider Matthew, the tax collector who left his post to follow Jesus. As the author of the first gospel, his words have shaped Christian belief for millennia. After the events in Jerusalem, his missionary path is less certain, with various traditions placing him in different locations. The most prominent tradition, however, points to Ethiopia. There, he preached and performed miracles, but his success brought him into conflict with the local king. The story goes that Matthew was martyred by being staked or nailed to the ground and then beheaded. From a despised tax collector to a revered apostle and martyr, Matthew's life is a powerful story of redemption and ultimate sacrifice for the cause he came to embrace. Let's move on to the lesser-known apostles, starting with James the Less, son of Alphaeus. His identity is sometimes confused with others named James, but tradition gives him his own unique story. His missionary field is believed to have been Syria and Persia. The account of his death, recorded by the historian Hegesippus, is particularly dramatic. It places him back in Jerusalem, where he was taken to the pinnacle of the temple by religious leaders and commanded to renounce his faith before the crowd below. He refused, instead using the opportunity to preach. Enraged, they threw him from the great height. Miraculously, he survived the fall, but as he knelt to pray for his attackers, he was beaten to death with a fuller's club by someone in the mob. Next, we have Thaddeus, also known as Jude, the brother of James the Less. He is often linked with another apostle, Simon the Zealot. Tradition holds that they traveled together as a missionary team. Their journey took them through Judea, Samaria, Syria, and Mesopotamia. Their final mission was in the city of Edessa or possibly Persia. Here, their powerful preaching against the local pagan gods led to their arrest. According to the popular account in the Golden Legend, they were martyred together. Jude was clubbed to death, a fate mirroring his brothers, while Simon the Zealot met a different, equally terrible end. Simon the Zealot, the apostle who came from a background of fervent political rebellion against Rome, channeled his zeal into his new faith. As mentioned, he traveled extensively with Jude. When they were martyred together in Persia, tradition holds that Simon was executed by being sawn in half. This incredibly brutal method of execution became his symbol in Christian art. From a political revolutionary fighting for a temporal kingdom, Simon became a spiritual warrior who gave his life for a heavenly one, his end a horrifying testament to his transformed passion. Finally, we come to the one who replaced the traitor Judas Iscariot. His name was Matthias. Chosen by the remaining 11 apostles by casting lots, Matthias stepped in to restore their number. His missionary work is said to have taken him to the shores of the Caspian Sea, in a region sometimes referred to as Ethiopia, which likely meant Caucasus in modern-day Georgia. Here, he preached among cannibalistic tribes. The tradition surrounding his death is that he was arrested by these local people and executed by being beheaded with an axe, a brutal end for the man chosen to fill the void left by the ultimate betrayal. And so, our journey across the map comes to an end. From the cross in Rome to the spear in India, from being flayed in Armenia to being sawn in half in Persia, the fates of the apostles were, by any measure, terrible. Yet, their stories are not ultimately tales of tragedy. They are powerful testaments to a conviction so profound that it stared down the most horrific ends imaginable and did not waver. Their willingness to endure suffering and death is, for many, the most compelling evidence of the truth they proclaimed. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible historical and spiritual journey. If you found this fascinating, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more deep dives into history and faith. See you next time.